Why does the number 40 appear so many times in the Bible? 40 days, 40 years, 40 nights, again and again and again. Coincidence? Or is God trying to reveal a hidden pattern? Because once you notice it, you can't unsee it. And what if I told you? This number may explain the difficult season you're in right now. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you may never look at waiting seasons the same way again. The first major appearance of 40 was during the flood. Genesis says rain fell for 40 days and 40 nights. Think about that. The world as people knew it completely changed during those 40 days. Not because God hated humanity, but because something had to be cleansed before something new could begin. And then later, Moses disappears onto Mount Sinai for 40 days. Jesus fasts in the wilderness for 40 days. Israel wanders for 40 years. Over and over and over again. The Bible keeps repeating this number. Why? Because in Scripture, 40 is rarely random. It often appears right before transformation, promotion, breakthrough, revelation, or a completely new season. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Transformation almost never feels good while it's happening. And that's the part people don't like. Because everyone wants the promise, but nobody wants the process. Before Jesus began his ministry, before the miracles, before the crowds, before the resurrection, he spent 40 days in the wilderness, hungry, alone, tested. And here's what's fascinating. The wilderness wasn't punishment. It was preparation. Read that again. The wilderness was not destruction. It was preparation. Because God often develops people in hidden places before revealing them publicly. And maybe that's why some of you feel stuck right now. Because heaven may be preparing you for something your current version isn't ready for yet. Let's be honest. Nobody likes waiting seasons. Nobody likes uncertainty. Nobody enjoys praying for answers and hearing silence. But modern culture trained us to expect instant results. Instant food, instant messages, instant entertainment. But God rarely works instantly. Nature itself teaches this. Seeds grow in darkness first. Gold is refined in fire. Diamonds form under pressure. And spiritually, people are often transformed through waiting. Not because God abandoned them, but because He's shaping them. But here's what most people miss. The Israelites could have reached the promised land much faster. The journey wasn't supposed to take 40 years geographically. So why did it? Because Egypt left their location quickly, but it didn't leave their mindset quickly. And sometimes God delays arrival until your heart catches up with your destiny. Think about that. Throughout Scripture, 40 represents testing, purification, transition, refinement, preparation for something greater. Not destruction, preparation. And suddenly, many Bible stories begin making more sense. Noah's flood wasn't the end. It was the beginning of a cleansed world. Jesus' wilderness wasn't failure. It was preparation for power. Israel's wandering wasn't meaningless. It was training. Because God is more interested in who you become than how quickly you arrive. Maybe your difficult season isn't meaningless either. Maybe the breakup, the delay, the loneliness, the unanswered prayers are shaping something deeper inside you. Because discomfort has a strange way of revealing what comfort hides. And maybe some of the strongest people you admire today were built in seasons nobody saw. Quiet seasons, painful seasons, 40-type seasons. And maybe that's why some people quit too early. Because they mistake preparation for abandonment. But what if heaven is doing hidden work? What if the waiting is actually protection? What if God is removing things, strengthening things, healing things you can't even see yet? Because some blessings arrive too heavy for unprepared shoulders. So the real question is not, why 40 days? The real question is, what is your season preparing you for? Because throughout the Bible, 40 was never the end of the story. It was the process before transformation. And maybe your breakthrough is closer than you think. If this message spoke to you, comment below, God is preparing me. And subscribe to Grace Unseen for more deep biblical mysteries, faith revelations, and spiritual truths that change the way you see life. Because sometimes, the hidden seasons carry the greatest purpose.